Hello grade 7, this is Tutor Marife. In this video, i-tutor ko paano i-evaluate ang given rational expression na ito if x equals 3, y equals -4, and z equals 2. So this is actually all about evaluating a given algebraic expression. Okay, so mukha siyang complicated because of the multiple operations and it has 3 variables, tapos complex yung fraction mo. Yung rational expression natin ay complex kasi yung terms natin dito sa bandang denominator ay fractions din. Okay? So, ang main focus nitong problem na ito is the application of the order of operations. So, isa din itong test sa mastery ng inyong GEMDAS rule. Okay? So, let's start. So, given itong algebraic expression na ito, hahanapin natin ang kanyang value. Okay? So, given ang value ng x, y, and z, ano ang step 1? Ipo-plug in natin yung mga binigay na values dito sa expression. To plug in means to substitute or to replace. Okay? So, we have 3 times, replace x with 3 minus 5 times, replace y with -4. So, -4 squared minus 2. Replace x with 3. Replace y with -4. Replace z with 2. All over, replace x with 3, replace y with -4. So 3 divided by -4 minus y squared, replace y with -4. So -4 squared over z divided by 2. Yan. So, ang step 1 is substitution. After substitution, ang next step natin is to simplify the expression above the long horizontal line or your fraction line, or your fraction bar, or your vinculum. Vinculum is another grouping symbol. So, ano ba ang GEMDAS rule? Ang GEMDAS rule is to perform operations within grouping symbols first, before exponentiation, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So, ito ay grouping symbol. Ano ba ang ginugroup ng vinculum? Ginugroup niya together ang expression above the vinculum and expression below the vinculum. So, kailangan i-simplify mo ito by performing all the operations involved. Tapos, i-simplify mo rin ang denominator mo by performing the operations involved. Okay? So, mag-concentrate muna tayo dito sa ating numerator, expression above the fraction line. Okay, so let's call this expression n for numerator. i-rewrite natin. We have 3 times 3 minus 5 times negative 4 squared minus 2 times 3 times negative 4 times 2. By Gemda's rule, kailangan i-perform mo muna ang exponentiation. Ito yun. Then you multiply. Ito yung multiplication. This is also multiplication. And last operation to be performed is subtraction. Ito yon. Yan yung S. Yan. So, yan ang correct order of operations natin. Exponentiate, multiply, subtract. Okay, kaya lang, pwede rin ninyong pagsabayin ang exponentiation dito sa second term at ang multiplication dito sa first and third term. Pwede mong gawin yon, yung sabay na performing of exponentiation and multiplication kapag nasa magkakaibang terms sila. Hindi mo pwedeng gawin yung sabay kapag nasa iisang term lang sila. So, yung multiplication naman natin dito ay nasa first term eh. Tapos, yung exponentiation natin ay nasa second term. Tapos, itong another multiplication operation natin ay nasa third term. Okay? So, pwedeng gawin natin at the same time ang E at M. Of course, yung E at M within the second term, hindi natin pwedeng pagsabayin. We exponentiate muna dito. After that, saka ka pwedeng mag-multiply. Okay? So, ang pwedeng pagsabayin ay pag yung operations na E at M ay nasa magkakaibang term. This is the first term. This is the second term and this is the third term. Okay, so let's do that. Pwede na tayong mag-multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Within the second term, mag-exponentiate lang muna tayo. So we have 5 times value of negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 squared is negative 4 times negative 4. So it's positive 16 because you have an even number of negative signs. Kaya positive yung 16. Minus, multiply mo na rin ito. First, count the negative signs. So it's 1. Ang product should be negative because 1 is an odd number. If the number of negative signs is odd, the answer must be negative. So, negative 2 times 3, 6 times 4, 24 times 2, 48. Okay? So, after exponentiation sa second term, pwede ka nang mag-multiply. 5 times 16 is 80. 9, tapos ito, minus negative 48. Okay, so, ang last operation natin ay subtraction. We perform from left. So, para kang nagbabasa ng book. Pag nagbabasa ka, yung mata mo, nagsisimulang from left, going to the right side. So, eto muna, 9 minus 80. Ang 9 minus 80 ay the same sa 9 plus negative 80. Rule in subtraction, KPO. Keep the first term, so it's 9, change minus to plus, and add the opposite of the next number. Opposite of 80 is negative 80. Minus negative 48. 9 plus negative 80 is negative 71. Application ng addition rule for signed numbers. Pag different yung signs ng addends mo, subtract their absolute values and follow the sign of the number with the greater absolute value. Absolute value of 9 is 9. Absolute value of negative 80, i-disregard mo lang yung sign, it's 80. Subtract the absolute values. Of course, when you subtract higher absolute value minus smaller absolute value, so it's 80 minus 9, 71. Then you follow the sign of the number with greater absolute value, negative 71. Okay? Minus negative 48. Again, we have subtraction. So, let's follow KPO again. Keep the first term plus opposite of the next term or the next number. So, we keep negative 71, we change minus to plus, and we change the next number to its opposite. Opposite of negative 48 is positive 48. So once again, you are adding two numbers with different signs. Follow mo ulit yung rule. Subtract their absolute values. Absolute value of negative 71, disregard the sign, so it's 71. Absolute value of 48 is 48. Subtract the absolute values. Larger absolute value, 71, minus a smaller absolute value, 23. Then follow the sign of the number with larger absolute value. So the answer is negative 23. So ang simplified form ng expression dito sa numerator natin is negative 23. Okay. Denominator. This is our denominator. Let's call it D for denominator. D equals 3 over negative 4 minus negative 4 squared over 2. Ano yung operations involved sa ating denominator? Division, subtraction, another division, then exponentiation. So, obviously, evaluate muna ang exponential term. Pwede mo na ring isabay yung division dito kasi nasa ibang term siya. Pero within this term, itong second term ng denominator, exponentiate first before you divide. Kasi E comes first. Nahuli yung D. Okay? So, pwede nating pagsabayin yung E and D kapag nasa magkaibang term yung dalawang operations. Paano mo i-divide ito? Isi-simplify mo lang yung sign kasi yung negative mo nakapwesto sa ibaba. Hindi pa yan actually na-finalize. So, paano mo i-finalize? I-determine mo yung final sign nitong first term mo. Count again the negative 1. If the number of negative sign is odd, final sign is negative. So, isusulat mo lang dito sa bandang gitna. Pag ang negative kasi nakasulat sa numerator lang o sa denominator lang, hindi yun naka-finalize. Kailangan ang final sign mo nakasulat sa bandang gitna, katapat ng fraction line mo. Then, you copy the numerator and the denominator. So, pag ganyan ang pagkakasulat ng first term mo, that means para kang nag-perform na ng division dito sa first term mo. Okay? Dito naman sa second term natin, dalawa yung operations involved. Exponentiation at division. So, between the two operations, ang kailangang i-perform muna ay exponentiation. So, negative 4 squared ulit, that's positive 16 divided by 2. After exponentiation dito sa second term, pwede mo nang i-divide yan. And that is equal to 8. 16 divided by 2 is equal to 8. Last operation to be performed is subtraction. Again, we will use the KPO. Keep the first term, so it's negative 3/4. Change minus to plus, and change the next number to its opposite. Opposite of 8 is negative 8. Then we apply once again addition rule. When we are adding numbers with the same sign, we add their absolute values and copy their common sign. Absolute value of negative 3/4, disregard the sign, 3/4. Absolute value of negative 8, disregard the sign, it's 8. Add the two absolute values, 8 and 3/4. If you are adding a fraction and a whole number, i-combine mo lang, i-form mo yung mixed number mo. Then, we retain their common sign. So, ang answer is negative 8 and 3/4. We change this into improper fraction. How do we convert mixed number to improper fraction? Multiply the denominator and the whole number part. After getting their product, you add it to the numerator. So 4 times 8, 32. Add it to 3, 35. 35 will be your numerator. Copy the denominator. This is our denominator. Yan. So, this is negative 35 over 4. Okay? So, yung complicated algebraic expression natin ay naging ganito na. Numerator over denominator ay naging negative 23. Yung itaas, yung ibaba, naging negative 35 over 4. So, naging simple problem na siya. Okay, this fraction line is division. So, pinakahuling operation natin is the division. Katumbas ng ating fraction line. So, paano mag-divide? First is determine the sign of your quotient. count the negative signs. 1, 2. 2 is even. If the number of negative signs is even, the answer is positive. Okay, so since positive, pwede mo nang i-ignore yung mga dalawang negatives na yan. Kasi alam na nating positive ang answer. And then how do we divide? Let's rewrite this as 23 divided by 35 over 4. Tinanggal na natin ang negative signs kasi alam na nating positive yung answer. Lahat ng whole numbers merong invisible denominator na 1. So 23 pwede nating isulat na 23 over 1. How do we divide? We keep the first number. We proceed to multiplication. So we change the division symbol to multiplication symbol. And we flip the next number, the divisor. You invert 35 over 4 upside down. So 4 over 35. If it's possible to reduce, you reduce before you multiply. So this is not reducible. We can proceed to multiplication. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. 23 times 4 is 92. 1 times 35 is 35. And then we rewrite our answer into mixed number. Ilang 35 ang nasa 92? Dalawang 35. Ang dalawang 35 ay 70. Ibawas mo ang 70 sa 92, merong leftover na 22. This is our final answer. So, na-evaluate na natin ang complicated algebraic expression, and this is equal to 2 and 22 over 35. Okay? So, once again, please subscribe to Tutor Marife MCP. Thank you.